Bezrat Hashem, the Zohar this morning is teaching us, Lo nafku Yisrael Mitzrayim ad yitbaru kol shitenim d'Elah. Am Israel couldn't go out of Egypt till Hashem broke all the chains of the spiritual evil forces that held Am Israel in Mitzrayim. As you know, the Jews were in Mitzrayim 210 years. Unfortunately, during this time, after Yaakov Avinu died, after the Shevatim died, they started to go into Egypt and they started to assimilate with the Egyptians till they became even of their Avodah Zarah. They were idolaters. Sure enough, they put themselves some barriers. One of the barriers they put themselves is to continue calling themselves and their children Jewish names. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. They didn't take any Egyptians' names. Even though Paro tried to impose on them to take Egyptians' names. Like we see when Yosef, the king, the ruler, became king, Paro is calling him Tzafnat Paneach. He didn't want him to call himself Yosef. But Yosef, a tzaddik, didn't call himself Tzafnat Paneach. When somebody called him, he called him His Majesty, and he said, my name is Yosef, Ani Yosef. Other things is, they didn't change their clothes. They agreed amongst themselves they will continue to wear tunics and all those skirts that the Egyptian men used to wear. The third thing is they took upon themselves not to speak Lashon Hara, not to speak on each other bad. This is three barriers that help them, that even though they were going down day after day, they were going down in Tuma, in impurity, and the force of evil were catching them and pulling them down, this helped them to come out. They were, according to our sages, they reached the 49th level of impurity. That's why when they came out, they couldn't even stay one extra minute to bake their bread as it should be and not to have matzot. Why? Because each minute was important to take them out of there. Says the Zohar, Hashem had to break those evil forces and bring them into Him. Like it says over here, Kili bnei Israel avadim, avadai hem. They stay slaves. They were slaves to Paro. Hashem takes them out, and now they're a slave to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But for sure, it's much better to be a slave of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to be the slaves of Paro and to evil forces. When you're a slave, you do what the master tells you. A lot of people, they have problems which they want to get out of, and they can't. Some people smoke. They cannot stop smoking. Why? Yetzer hara is too big for them. This is called slavery, because you're a slave for your inclinations. You're a slave to Yetzer hara who tells you to smoke. You see people die right and left. You see people get sick from the cigarette. They write it on the pack of cigarettes. Why can't you stop? Because you're in the hands of Yetzer hara. Same things, people taking drugs. Same people alcoholic, drinking, and they don't know where to stop. All those things, it takes self-control. When you'll be able to control yourself, you're getting out of the evil forces and you're getting into the Torah, mitzvot, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Avadai hem, they are my slaves. Instead of doing nonsense things, you should be slave to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So yes, to go every morning to the prayer, yes, it's hard. It takes time, and you want to have your appointments early in the morning. But don't forget, what's better? To be a slave to Paro and work in bricks, and from the morning as the sun rises till your neshama goes out from your body at night, you work for him? Or it's better for you to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So yes, you go in the morning to the prayer. Yes, you have to go to Mincha and Arvit. Yes, every time you have to eat something, you have to say a blessing. Yes, you have to say Birkat Hamazon. All this is time consuming for sure. But don't forget, you're a slave. But think, what's better? You're going to be anyway a slave. Is it better to be a slave to Paro? Is it better to be a slave to your evil inclinations? Or is it better to be a slave of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I took them out of Egypt and I brought them to me. And one of the things, right after they came of Egypt, one of the things Hashem is giving us as a mitzvah, to take away all the chametz, all the leaven from our house. Why is that? Because now we're going to eat matzah for 7 days. During Pesach we eat matzah. Matzah, says the Zohar, is a bread of a medicine. The matzah cleans you up. The matzah is not puffed like bread. The matzah is there to clean your soul. So that's why it's so important to eat matzah during the 7 days, and that's how Hashem cured us. He took us from the chains of Egypt, He brought us to Him, He gave us the medicine, the most efficient medicine, which is eating matzah during 7 days, and once we were pure, we were ready to get the Torah. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen v'amen.